Corey, it is the podcast in a different iteration. Of course, audio people will not know, but YouTubers, if you guys want to follow us on YouTube, search Sugar Cookie Marketing and you'll find the playlist Watch the Baking It Down podcast.
And the reason why it's such a weird look this week is because we're testing the ability to have other creators on here. So the past people we've had on the podcast, as you've seen, have actually flown in or driven into Northern Virginia. That's quite impossible for most.
Listen, if you want it, you'll make the drive. But yeah, if as Heather and Kim found out, that room was very hot. So I think
Very
this will
hot.
be a good test to see if we could do podcast guests remotely.
Yeah, and if it works, just great. It's obviously not going to be like the video quality of having, two nice cameras in the room, but
Could
it's
we have
good
had,
enough
sorry,
where
could we have had two nice cameras in the room? Yes.
we
Did Corey
couldn't
want
have two camera
to set up two nice cameras in the
running.
room? No, but I have a nice camera, or at least we'll try. The Corey is being recorded on Zoom. So this is our first run of this. So far, so good. So
So
far,
far, we don't
technology
even know if this is actually recording anything that we're trying. It could be
felt like a
just
little bit like a boomer when did you click it yet? Can you hear me? Did your camera? So we're jumping into the Baking It Down podcast, which Corey usually says is an iteration of a Facebook group. We've been really good at letting people in the group if they've answered all the questions. And I see some of you guys say you found us from the podcast. So marketing works.
Nice. And if you didn't know, go join the Sugar Cookie Marketing Facebook group. But the podcast is actually from topics that we see trending in the marketing group. So whether it be what's new,
I have a
yes, ma'am, you in
question.
the front, please.
Thank you. Let me raise my virtual hand on Zoom. Did you see I can send you a heart react?
I do not have a heart react or a hand react in the chat, fam.
I'm going to give you a thumbs up.
Oh, I got a thumbs up from Heather. It's floating up the screen.
Okay, here I have some questions for my YouTubers who smash that like button. What's the sign on your shoulder? That looks very neat.
Oh, I actually did a video about it, but it's this lady who hand custom makes these wooden signs. She paints them, she does them to your logo. They can be super intricate. Obviously, I don't have an intricate logo because I'm a simple person, but this is my logo that she made.
That's your graphic designer. It looks pretty cool.
It's pretty
How
cool.
much did it cost?
No, they want to talk about it. She has different pricing. So if you get a smaller sign, I think it's 700 to about
Oh
$900.
my goodness. Is it made of wood?
It's made of full wood.
And she hand painted it?
Yeah, with an airbrush. Us
Wow.
cookers would know what that feels like.
It looks really cool. I mean, she did a great job. It's exactly your logo and exactly
It
your
is.
font.
She did fantastic.
Okay, how many cutters have you printed on that 3D printer?
Exactly zero.
Okay, who set
That's
it
what
up
we're
for you?
doing
How did you get it
after.
set up and didn't use it?
Heather made a video for the cookie college of her setting it up. This is it right here.
That's a bamboo A1 mini. And you can tell it's not being used because she didn't know where to put the filament, and that's why it's sitting to the left. Put this box on your other shoulder.
This is my dehydrator. He's a trusty old dusty man.
Is he from Cabela's?
He is Cabela's 10 tray. My husband threw away a tray and he says it was on accident. And I said that was actually rude and you did it on purpose. So he's now a 9 trayer.
How did you file for divorce? I threw away a tray. What's above it? Sprinkles? Oh,
There's some
little like,
sprinkles. These are my containers that I love. I get them from Target. I put each order in one, and that's how I keep them divided. These are little freezing care instructions that I include in orders. These are sprinkles.
then your heat sealer that I heard you dropped.
But Nathan got him to work again. He is right here.
Oh, Nate, getting the brownie points this
This is
week.
my window.
This is your air purifier, which I actually bought one because I like an air purifier.
Yes, that's my air purifier. This room is pretty tiny, so the air purifier is purifying. So there's no dust or anything.
Corey was talking about how much she goes out of her way for dust, which we can talk about in another podcast, but let's jump into today's topic. Everyone on YouTube got to see all that, and everybody in the podcast audio land is
Oh,
choice.
they're saying, what
What
a
else?
sign, a dehydrator. I didn't even know.
I could have seen it if you guys had smashed that like button. Let's talk about the topic today, getting stuck in the web sites, which is great as we lean into Halloween. So it's a little spooky there. A little scary. Yeah, so I'll just start here. Last night, Cast Iron sent out an email, or at least they posted it in their Facebook group, that they are actually ceasing operations in the iteration of Cast Iron. And I'm going to read that, and then we can talk about kind of what happened that we know of. I mean, I don't really know very much, but kind of what cast iron became, and I'm not sure completely what that looks like. So, dear
Yeah.
cast iron community, we're reaching out with difficult news. As of today, cast iron, I'm so sorry, backstory. Cast iron is a website host. Getting stuck in the web sites. That's the whole thing. So it's all this whole podcast is on a website host and kind of probably our recommendations on where you should head, should you need to. Anyway, so cast iron is closing. So we are reaching out with difficult news. As of today, cast iron has ceased operations. This decision was made at the TD Jakes level, and like many of you, we only heard about it ourselves last night. Tonight. Because of that, we're no longer employed or able to provide support moving forward. Your storefronts and data are not being deleted, but since the platform will no longer be maintained, we strongly encourage you to begin transitioning to a new platform as soon as possible. We are heartbroken too. Serving food entrepreneurs like you has been the most meaningful part of our work, and it's hard to see things end so abruptly. Thank you for being a part of this journey and for trusting us with a piece of your business. With gratitude, the Cast Iron team. So, I'm not a cast iron user, but some members of the Cookie College were, is.
Yeah, I
It
know.
was. And they had posted that. So they were talking about like what to do if cast iron is your host. But I think it brings to light a great conversation regardless. And we will talk about what I think you should do if cast iron is and will be a was your host. But I
Yeah.
think it brings to light the websites because in marketing, such a big thing.
Well, I want to say, even this year alone, cast iron has now gone, but so did Bake Diary also. They had illness in the family and decided just to close down their entire platform. They didn't sell it, they didn't try to get a new ownership of it, they just ended up closing it down. So that's two big ones that people were using. Cast iron, how we actually came to know them, I want to say, was it 4 or 5 years ago?
It was five
Was
years
that?
ago. I think 5 years ago I got an email, but it's funny, no, actually, Corey was cold emailed, which I never check a cold email. Cold email in terms of marketing is somebody emailing you, they've gotten your email address and you did not give it to them and they're soliciting you for something. And it was actually an SEO based exchange. So if you guys know in terms of SEO, a website starts to rank better with better content. Well, getting guest writers to write guest blog posts on your website is a great way to interlink because what Cast Iron was able to do, they reach out to Corey. Could you write us as Sugar Cookie Marketing a blog post on what was it?
It was something, Mark. It's been so long to be honest that I can't. Was it? It was Emily. Was her name?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the lady we
Yeah,
interviewed.
she was so nice. But that was at the creation of Castor. And when it was first starting out, it was a smart move. They were going to different creators in the baking world and asking them to write a blog post, having to deal with something that they knew a lot about. So I know mine was marketing. I just can't remember the topic, but it was helping build their website because they were able to link to like the sugar cookie marketing website and everything like that. That's what opened the door for where we figured out what cast iron even was
Now,
this
was
little
that
simple
a
blog
paid
post.
exchange?
No, it was not a paid exchange. It was
So, okay, like,
she was very, very nice.
oh.
And she said they posted on socials.
So, if you guys, in terms of ranking blog posts, you can have guest writers, but a lot of times they're compensated. Sometimes it's an exchange of backlinks, which means Cast Iron would have given Sugar Cookie Marketing a link. Maybe that was what it was. Or you can just say, I want to be featured on a website that would possibly send you traffic. Okay, there's many reasons to do it. It's a great SEO thing. A lot of people do it. So that was 5 years ago. Corey writes this thing. Then I think the owner of the company at the time had emailed us a couple times. Listen, so sorry. Cold email may work on Corey. It doesn't work on me as well. I hate it for everybody around me. I just get a lot of emails, so typically I address the ones where people need something and they know me, then the other ones. But the owner was very persistent and said they were interested in sponsoring the podcast, which is how a lot of you guys knew that. Now that was probably 4 years ago.
Right.
All right, then I don't know. I guess we kind of went our separate ways.
Well, they sponsored the podcast as they were going for about, I want to say a year or so that they were there. And they did some Facebook Lives in the group for a
And then I
while.
think Emily and kind of the people we knew, they left the company and then we kind of dissolved that relationship. So then that was probably 3 years ago. And then
Yeah.
I noticed last year, maybe a year and a half ago, Cast Iron started making a lot of changes, which actually were pretty neat changes. They were implementing a lot of features. Um, but through about 2.5 years ago, they started really changing the pricing because I think initially it was like free and then
It
it
was
was
free and
a
a
free.
percentage.
Yes, that was the big
Yeah.
thing. And now you'll find that Hot Plate actually uses it. I have a love-hate relationship with that because it is truly a math problem. These companies that take percentage of sales, these web hosts, meaning if you don't make any sales, you don't actually have to pay anything, which
Yeah,
is
and a percentage of an eight, say if you sold one pre-sale cookie for $8, the percent is rather low. You know,
right.
you're
So
not going to lose a lot.
Yeah, it's truly an economies of scale thing. There's a point at which you sell so much volume that the percentage is actually taking more than if you just used a standard price, a monthly price, flat fee based host. So those
Yeah.
are always gateway drug websites because you're like, I'm just getting started. I want to keep my costs low. Here I have almost an essentially free website host that's allowing me to take orders, look professional. Like we always say, websites will always convert more than not having a website. And the type of website you have is
Yeah. Heather
relative.
has always said she's always been for these, what would you call these platforms where you can have a website on it, but you don't actually own your domain or whatnot? Like cast
I always
iron, like
they're
TD
always
Jakes.
premiums to me. There's always a free thing, but then they're going to charge you a premium if you want all the features. Now, Caster and I felt like in their initial rollout, kind of reverse that to onboard new customers, which is
Which,
the
yeah,
strategy.
me and
I'll say
Heather,
that if
there's
it's
this,
ever free, it won't be free for long.
yeah, me and
So,
Heather, there's this website that we've used for 1 gajillion years. Heather got me hooked on it. It's called AppSumo. And what AppSumo does, it's smart. It takes these startups, these people with startup apps, whether this is how we found Y-Stamp. Y-Stamp is the what do you call that? Signature, the signature that we use on our
email
emails.
signature, yeah.
Yeah. And she
They're
found
called
Y-Stamp.
else.
Y-Stamp had a lifetime deal. So if you signed up at the very beginning, you got Y-Stamp for life. And anytime, Heather hates the word lifetime deal because how can you know how long will your life last?
Question, the your life, is it your lifetime deal or is it the life of the product? And it's always that nobody ever clarifies because they're not. So what happens is you give this free product out, a lot of people sign up, you get a lot of users, then you can turn around to investors and say, hey, would you like to invest? Look at my user base. Again, with the Vendy Blendy chicken or the egg, I get why people do it, right? You got to
Yeah.
have users to be able to get investors. You got to have investors to be able to fund the users. So Cast Iron kind of had that business model as percentage of sales, but probably 2 years ago, a lot of tweaking in that price model. I think they had a free plan, that free plan went away, and then there was a premium plan that had all these features, and then that came to the mid-tier plan. Kind of when I see that, I always think there's a problem. Not all is well in paradise because there's a lot of things going on
Yeah.
that maybe a company that's in a growth cycle wouldn't be changing so quickly. Then all of a sudden, it went to like a super great deal. And I think it was only 1% of income. And forgive me, the numbers are wrong. I'm just trying to remember the back.
Yeah. It
And
was
then
a
they just,
dollar to join the Dwella.
yes, Duola. I remember there's a number one there. Then all these really neat features came out with like SMS texting or SMS order reminders, automated marketing emails written by AI and stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But usually, typically, when you see something like charging less and shoving a lot of features in, it's a creator looking for an exit. An
Yeah.
exit means they want to buy out, they want to sell the company, and it works. So Cast Iron maybe a year ago, and I could be
Maybe
wrong. They had launched, well, I thought it was a little different. It was like an Etsy, what am I
for
looking?
bakers.
Yeah, like an Etsy where people could go to here, find a baker and order a thing. Good Belly is along the same lines of that, but
Yes.
probably a little bit more established. I thought it was pretty interesting, but as soon as that was launched, then it became that the announcement is that they sold because the company they sold to, which I think is referenced here in this email, TD Jakes, wanted that Etsy feature.
Yes.
So
So
they
TD Jakes put it under this umbrella called Nourish, was what cast iron was called. TD Jakes is, I want to say he's in, don't quote me, I think he's a pastor, but he just invests in a lot of different realms of things. So TD Jakes being this overall arching gentleman that owns these. And then under TD Jakes, he had this Nourish, which under that cast iron was falling of
yeah.
his different investments in life. So that's where that kind of fell in this little trajectory of this company that now owns cast iron.
Okay, and then probably pulling out my butt part, I said, "Oh no, this won't end well for the bakers on this platform because it seemed like they wanted the software not as much as that user base, especially because when they made that sale, they immediately changed the pricing back to kind of what is a higher tiered pricing compared to
Yeah,
other website hosts."
yeah.
Okay, and then now we're a year later and they're sunsetting the cast iron side of it because I think that I'm not sure about that Nourish side. I'm not sure if
I
that
don't
stuff
know.
lasts or not. But the cast iron, what it was originally, those individual websites they're saying like, you got time, but be moving along here, get it out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, here's the
So,
thing. A lot of people, and I saw in the comment section, because a lot of people were talking in the Sugar Cookie Marketing Group and the Cookie College. People are like, I have people who have outstanding in unpaid invoices. How will I be able to translate the information of that over to where I go? So there's a lot of and no one has an answer. That's
No
that's
one
the
has an
hardest
answer.
part.
And these two twins, we have zero answers. I know some people paid for the year up front. They were asking, do I get a refund for this? Not a clue. What I would do, let's talk about what we would do if we were cast iron users. And then we're going to go through some topics of things to look for in your next web host that you're going to have to choose here.
Eh,
I would immediately reach out to the clients where the orders are in purgatory, right? So either clients who haven't paid yet and you've baked, or clients who have paid and you have not delivered the
mhm.
product. And I would let them know that I would not let them know the drama here. I guess you could spin this as
No.
drama. This is just the way of life as a business owner. Sucks. Hate it when it happens to the softwares I use. I would
Yeah.
just say, hey guys, we're migrating to a new platform. I'm going to void out that invoice I already sent you. I'm just going to reissue it through Square. Square right now has a pretty easy way to send an invoice. You can also send invoices through PayPal, something that gets them a new invoice in their inbox.
Yes.
For people that have already paid and you haven't delivered, I would just make sure that we take that email. If you're, I'm not sure if Cast Iron has a correspondence within the website, but I would take it to your inbox and say, hey, just want to let you know, we're moving website host. So I'm going to just take this conversation to inbox, make sure I don't miss anything. Just
Yes.
want to remind you here your order details, and here's when I plan to pick you up. So, assuming maybe max we're talking about, it's like 12 outstanding orders. Unless you like take booking really far out, I'd still do that. That would be my protocol for all. I would get them all into your inbox and into a different invoicing software. Not
Yeah.
ideal, right? You might say, well, all my history's in cast iron. You could see if you can export that. I'm not too familiar with the platform. But what I would do is get all that stuff, as much data possible, if you like data tracking, and then I would get all those, really focus on these people that are outstanding. If it's
Yeah.
you having to deliver, them having to pay, let's get them into another software, even if it's just temporary.
Yeah.
Let's get that
Um,
money taken care of.
it also might be a good idea to get a CRM, customer relationship manager, because if all your information about this client is stored within the cast iron servers, and one day you go to log in and you cannot access that information, we don't want it to be like, well, I don't know where Stacy's email is, and I can't email Stacy. I don't have the details. She's paid, but so using a CRM, and if you're like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of money being thrown around here. If your CRM is a Google Doc, that works too. So it's just getting the information from cast iron and having it in an external spot.
And then maybe in time, when you have more time to breathe and you got your new
Yeah.
website up, you can use that actual program. And yes, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's money associated with programs and software. So I would operate kind of what Corey said there, off the fact that one day you'll log in and you just can't get in. Okay. Okay.
What I did see a little in the comments section is someone said, I knew something was up when sometime during this past year, I went to log in and it was down for a couple of days. So you can see like they've been, sundowning this whole thing and the support is less and less. So you don't want to say, well, that, maybe Cast Iron will say, we'll give you a month. We love that someone would say, I'll give you a month, unless a month is in writing in a contract, they are not required to give you a month. So never just assume that you could wait to the last minute. Me and Heather are like chronic procrastinators.
Hey, I
So
perform well under pressure.
yeah, we don't want to do that with this one though.
Right. So I would say if you're listening to this podcast, it's on Tuesday. If let's say you listen to it this week, I would get this done this week. That would be how I'd go. And I'd also do this. It's very simple to use Google Drive, even on a free Gmail point, afraid. Uh,
Afraid.
yeah, even on a free Gmail account, you can use Google Drive. I'd create Google Sheets and I would just copy and paste all the text that you have on your current website. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel when you do find that. You can just paste it right in. So what we're going to get is our images. If you've stored images there, again, I don't know how cast iron works, but I assume you could right click save as. It probably will be compressed, so I'd rather
Yeah.
the original. I'll get all the text off my website and then I'll make sure I export all those orders, all the math that I need if I want to track that, all the order information that I need if I want to have a CRM. And then I would definitely start with handling that outstanding invoices or outstanding order details and get those people into an inbox.
Yeah. Then I'll go to Staples. I'll get some labels and on the business cards that I just bought.
Dude.
I'm
And I
gonna
want to talk
cover.
about that in a second. What Corey's saying is cast iron had its own. Okay, when you go to a domain, so if you want to go to the Sugar Cookie Marketing website, you would type in sugarcookiemarketing.com. I use a host called Podia that allows a custom domain that I set up through Namecheap. Fancy buzzwords to say I'm allowed to change the door to my house.
Yeah.
Cast Iron said we want to keep things pretty streamlined. We're not I don't believe they let you change the door to your house, but don't quote me on that.
I don't think they did. I think people had to do a 301 redirect if they wanted that.
Okay, and that is basically I'm going to change a door down the street, but when you walk through the door, you're going to end up in my house. You're not going to understand how you got there.
Yeah.
What happens with that is you get an assigned domain, and it's typically, castiron.com / Corey's Baking Company. That domain will no longer operate once they cease operations, which is unfortunate if you printed it out, but such is life, it happens. If you had been using that redirect, you're just going to redirect it to some other host and you're good. You don't have to
Sure.
change your business cards at all. And that's another tip. Why owning your domain name, which you don't own it, you just rent it, but renting your domain name that you can point in any direction is pretty savvy in case of something like this happening.
Yeah. Some folks are just, they have like said to themselves, I'm not tech savvy. I like these platforms where I don't technically have to build my website. I like to be on someone else's homestead. So what another option for you to do so you don't run into this again is use something like a Shoreby link or a link tree. And that will help you if another company goes down, that you're not,
Basically, that's going to elongate your funnel, but it's also
yeah.
going to allow you to be able to switch doors pretty easily, very easily. Probably the easiest way to switch doors possible. And when I say doors, I mean your domain name, and when I say the house, that's your website. I like that
Yeah.
comparison.
Heather
So
Heather has a love-hate relationship with things like castiron.com / Corey's Baking Business because at the end of the day, you do not own that. So you can see not owning it, you're at the mercy
mercy.
of places like Cast Iron or Bake Diary. When they close down, you're like, but what? I wasn't ready to close down. I still liked you.
When it's as simple as renting a domain name for $10 a year, that's why I always say, even if these websites don't let you have a custom domain, you could still do the redirect. It's not my favorite thing, but it still is better than being fully reliant
Yes.
on something you don't own.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we jump into the like what to look for, where you'd go, let's list out some website hosts that we see most commonly talked about. Now it's funny, website hosts that get popular in a specific niche, like
Yeah.
cookies, are often recommended because other bakers recommend it. So you see kind of
Sure.
it's recommended in the sourdough community is actually quite different than what I see recommended. And what I see recommended in the SEO world is a lot different than what I see recommended in the cookie world. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm going to say what's recommended by other bakers because you got to understand that it's probably what they like, but it's also just what they were recommended as well.
I want to say the thing when you see someone recommend something, like sometimes because we've been in this space for so long, someone would be like, Corey, what dehydrator do you recommend? Well, Corey's only ever owned this one Cabela dude
The,
dehydrator. So I'm
uh,
going to be like, I recommend the Cabela hydrator. I don't know another one. And it's because this one hasn't done me dirty yet that I recommend it all the time. So that's why I say, well, I've only ever had a Cabela dehydrator and it's been great. But a lot of times you see bakers just be like, I use cast iron and I love it. But like you've never used anything else besides it. So there's hard to judge what else is out there.
yeah, I agree. So it's called a selection bias. I had to Google it real quick. Basically, you say, "Hey guys, what's the best website builder?" And everyone tells you the one that I use currently because they've all used it. So it's not a huge, yeah, okay. But there is some merit to asking bakers what they found because likely they vetted it for their needs as well. The number one website host I see recommended in the cookie groups is always Square.
Yes.
Bar none. Bar none. And I think that's honestly because so many people use Square that it's what they recommend. Square has a massive affiliate program.
Yes.
A lot of you have gotten banned for using your little affiliate links because of that, because now you said because it's what I use and I benefit from it, I'm also going to recommend it. And that's why we don't allow affiliate links in the group because now you're biased. You are no longer a free agent. You are commissioned to kill.
Yeah. And why so many bakers do recommend Square is Square has been around for the longest. Of all these new ones that you've heard about, Square has been around for a very, very long time. So it's just natural that before, My Custom Bakes or Cast Iron or Bakesy and things like that, Square was one of the older gents in the room that a lot of people used, and that's why a lot of people started using them.
And I do like that. I do see a lot of complaints with Square. I'm not sure if the complaints for downtime are because it just has more users than other hosts, but it does suffer from downtime.
But
People
people
look at my Square
love
website,
Yeah, people love its invoicing. The way that it invoices, it reminds people you can check if someone's viewed an invoice, how many times they've clicked on the invoice. It gives you a lot of information on the back end.
which is pretty interesting. In the Baker's Business Basics, I do have a course on you setting up Square invoicing, which is actually different than Square websites. You can send out an invoice through Square. collect money, and never have a website. So that's why I do recommend it for this interim time before you decide what your host is, just to get that money that for those outstanding orders into your inbox. Now, another one I see recommended, and the reason why I think people use it is Wix. Wix has been around for quite a long time. It is one of the first drag and drop builders. And by that, I mean you can look at it and you can drag and drop various pictures, features, images, very much like the Canva dashboard. You can do
Yeah.
that with Wix, which was in terms of having to know coding to make a website. This was the first thing that allowed people who didn't know how to code to create kind of aesthetic websites.
Yeah, so I know that Square has a little bit of a learning curve where people get frustrated because it's not this easy drag and drop. Wix is a nice alternative because it is drag and drop, but then you lose a little bit of the my website's unique because a lot of people are dragging and dropping similar things to
Yeah.
you.
And that's a good point when we talk about each of these has a plus and a minus, a pros and a cons.
Yes.
Rarely in life, and you can take this one all the way to the bank, will something fulfill every single need perfectly in the exact way you want it, and everybody else also had that need, and it also fixed it exactly the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
You guys, bakers specifically, run their businesses so uniquely that I don't think there's a one size fits all. And even if it did fit all, it wouldn't fit everybody. It would still
Yeah.
be like, well, I take big breaks and I live down a country road. Well, I live in a big city. Well, I live in an apartment. I can't have them come to my house, stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. So you're going to find a give and take and you're going to be frustrated. And that's just par for the course when you get these big website builders. Another one I see recommended is this is confusing. There's Square. That's what we just talked about. There's also
Yes.
something called Square Up. They're competitors. Squarespace. I'm sorry. What's Square Up?
I was like,
Square.
Square Up, this is new to me.
Guys, I'm just gonna make up some words. Pumpkin designs. So there's one called Squarespace, which find a competitor to another one called Shopify. Now,
Yeah.
Shopify, you actually see advertised a lot. So it's a good sign.
Yes.
It means that they have money. I think it might even be a publicly traded company. I'm not sure, but it is massive. Shopify probably powers, I think they claim that they can power over 33% of the internet.
I want to say Shopify, that's where my website is based on, is big into the e-commerce. That means online commerce, online sales realm.
But you're like, but that's what all websites do. No, actually, there's websites that are blogs. There's websites that are just informational. There's websites that are directories. There's websites with different intentions. But Shopify says we are here for one reason only, and that is to help you sell products online.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to say this one. You have these website hosts. Then you have these other marketplaces like Etsy. Now, with Etsy, and that was kind of what Cassandra and I had moved to, or was trying to move to, is you get to hook your shop to Etsy, and then you get Etsy's traffic, but you're also kind of a slave to whatever pricing model there is. And Bobby from Bobby's Cutters had mentioned that, I was like, hey, I don't use Etsy. I used it in my past life to just see how it worked, but I know you can opt into these marketplace ads. She was
Yeah.
like, after a certain amount, you cannot opt out of those. And I think they can go as far as high as 20% of your income. So but Etsy has a lot of its own traffic.
I want to say I am an Etsy user. I log on to Etsy all the time to see what new. But Etsy knew what it did was it grew into this ginormous conglomerate where home makers, like people who make crocheted items, wood items, bakers could come and use their platform. What Etsy does a fantastic job of is advertising Etsy. I see Etsy ads all over the place. So they are bringing, it's the chicken or the egg. They bring the users, you bring the products. Etsy has to make something out of it. And theirs is their fees and
Right.
commission structure.
Yeah. And so you could say, well, I really like Etsy, but I hate the fees. Again, it's back to that give and take. Do I sell more with Etsy? Yes. Do I lose more when I make the sale? Yes. Is that the math problem you want to take the bite out of? So, and then I'm sorry, now wait, so we've talked about the website host. Another big one, never talked about in the baking group is WordPress. And it's
Yeah.
one of the ones who said, we're not just going to focus on e-commerce, we're going to be a little bit of everything to everyone. And as such, it can get really, really clunky and it can also be very vulnerable to attacks. Now, interestingly enough, CookieCon's website has been having a massive attack from it's called something when somebody takes over your website and redirects it. I forget what the terminology is. Trojan horse or something. I don't remember. However, so if you have CookieCon is confusing in that I think they used to be cookiecon.net and then migrated the website to cookiecon.com, but .net was redirecting one or the other. I'm not sure which one is.
Yeah.
However, one of those domains has been hacked, and people were saying just this week, every time it goes, I don't know, it was on the website, but they said it takes me to a scary place.
Oh
Actually, with
no.
the haunted house of horrors theme that we've got
Yeah.
this time. And I think Mark Summers had posted in the CookieCon group, hey, just want to let you know, we're migrating that one. We're migrating to a new server. Like they have to start over to get
Yeah.
out of this. Because once you get those attacks, wow, is it hard to kind of get that cavity removed.
But to say to the positive of WordPress, because you just made every baker said WordPress is not for me, it is one of the better websites for ranking when it comes to SEO.
In Google specifically. And the reason
Yeah.
why is because WordPress gives you a lot of flexibility. Its bonus is also its minus. It gives you a lot
Yes.
of flexibility so you can do a lot of things with it. But to do a lot of things with it, you have to add on these plugins, and that's where those little backdoor vulnerabilities can creep in.
Yeah. And what, so you could be like, you guys just said you like WordPress. Why is Corey on Shopify? Shopify is for e-commerce. It really truly is trying to help you sell more online. Whereas WordPress, these plugins, like a plugin could, what's an expensive plugin?
Well, their e-commerce plugin is called WooCommerce.
And how much is that typically?
I think it'd be around 30. I think it's that scale one, but you're looking at some of these are 30 to $100.
30 to $100. A calendar could be a plugin. A
I
calendar
think
with
yeah, one
availability
time
could be a
20
plugin.
bucks.
Yeah, so you can WordPress is great, but these plugins can add up. They can
Contact
really,
form could be a paid plugin or it can be a free plugin. If it's free, then you're also
yeah.
going to get an unsupported plugin and you're going to have problems. So again, and I know this is so frustrating, a give, a take, a tear, a smile. This is welcome to the wild, wild web. So another one, and here's this one. Bake Diary, Corey said had closed. A
Yeah.
competitive Bake Diary is Bake C.
Hmm.
Big C is not necessarily a website as much as it's a landing page with an intake form. And I think you can actually purchase. I like the Big C guys. They've been nothing but nice to us. I think it's just, I get the vibe too.
In
It's plug and
yeah.
away.
In the sourdough world, the big ones that people like is I think the Simply Bread app is one, Bakesy and Hot Plate
Hot
are
plate.
the three big ones over there.
Now we had the hot plate guy. Corey reached out to him. Corey cold emailed him, and he
And
did.
I zoomed him.
Yeah. He's got a really interesting one. There's you sign up through text message. It's a
Yeah.
very SMS-based platform. Does take a massive percentage sales. They do a 5.5% cut, and that's on top of the processing fees. And you might have been like, that sounded so great until you said that. Listen, it's a math problem. If it may not work for somebody working in massive thing, and then there's something to keep in mind is the ones that offer a point of sale. Point of sale, what's that? POS system. It's where you have the
What'd
little
you just
card.
call me?
Look at all these web app builders. You have this like terminal, and sometimes it's an attachment to your phone. That one never seems to work as well as much as this one. And then people can come to you at a vendor market and tap to pay or insert their card or swipe their credit card, and it will actually report to your website host that sale.
Yeah. I
And
want to
then
say when I go to a farmer's market and someone doesn't have a POS system and they just say,
what did you just call me?
scan, and they say, here, scan my Venmo. It takes away from the professionality of it. And I'm like, that feels personal. Like we feel too close as you bred person at the
For
farmer's.
friends and family, so we don't have to pay a fee. That's right.
Yeah.
It also increases the funnel length to sell someone, hey, click to my link tree. There's my Venmo, pay me there versus, hey, here's my point of sale, and that'll be
Yes.
350. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of things. There's Hot Plate, My Custom Bakes, Bake C, Wix, WordPress, Shopify, Square Square. There's just a tremendous and what we've mentioned there. There's the builder called Figma that works with Webflow. There's just so many options out there. But these are the big players in the space. So you said, "Wow, girls, you confused me, and I hated this." Okay, fine. Yes, because there's so many different people that listen to this podcast. Thank you for listening, and thank you for watching. Here, we're just going to go through some things to think about when you're looking for your next website host, whether you're a cast iron user or you say, "Hey, I don't have a website. I know I want one." What I
Yeah.
would think about in terms of your unique, what am I looking for? Give me,
Offerings.
yeah, and your personality, because what works for one baker is not going to work for another baker. And Corey doesn't even log in her website. She doesn't have a login, so I have to do that.
Heather is my web
So,
person. I would highly recommend getting a twin and creating and making her your web designer.
But what's crazy is I actually have a web person. His name is Vlad. And I'll get him to do custom coding when Corey wants to make changes. So having a resource out there, somebody smarter than you, is by all means how you look much smarter. So Corey will be like, I wanted to do this. And I'll say, let me ask if Vlad could do this. I say, Vlad, can you do this? He said, I can do this. And I say, Corey, we'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Vlad and I are one. So here's what web thinks to be weary of. You see the W's I'm running with this podcast?
A lot of dubs.
Not dubs. One, is the host well established? Okay, lobbing myself an easy one here because when you have new hosting provider, actually, which is very interesting, when Bake Diary went down, a lot of people, a lot of developers went in and said, well, we're going to offer a replacement. Okay, they are very new, which means they have the chicken and the egg problem. They need users. I actually have one of them as a past vending blendie, and she emailed me yesterday. Bless her soul for being so patient, Amy, if you're listening. And she's working on a replacement for that as well. So you have, is the host well established? Now there's two benefits. There's benefits and detractors here. Well
Mm.
established, great. That means they're going nowhere. Shopify, I used it in 2011, and I'm using it here again in almost 2026. So it's going nowhere. However, when they're well established, they know their worth. They
They
charge.
do. Yeah.
So Corey's website just per month is $30, and that's if she makes zero sales, and that's with no plugins. And I do have a couple paid plugins running on her site. So you're always like, oh my goodness, that could get up to be $100 or $200 a month. Is it worth it? Ask yourself that. However, it is miserable to constantly have to shift a website every time something goes under. So you can
Yeah.
say, am I willing to pay for consistency?
Yeah, a big draw to people up and coming in the space, like when Baked Dairy went down, a few of them popped up. It is nothing in the world is free. So while they may say free for the first 200 users, it does come down to now your 200 users on a server that's costing that person money. Is there enough where they can actually, they're pouring in their own money right now. That's just what startup costs are. You don't want to put all your eggs in the one basket and then be like, oh, we didn't get funded enough, we didn't get enough donations, not enough people signed up, so we're going to have to close down, or we're moving you from the free platform to a paid only platform.
So my custom bakes is made by a baker, I think
Baker.
macaron baker. And I've followed their story a bit because I thought it was very interesting. I always find that when a baker comes up with something, they know the struggles of other bakers. So they're
Yes.
kind of speaking on the same level, like, hey, I need them to come to my house, but I don't want them to know my address until it's time to bake. Okay. What interesting was that is they roll out this completely free platform. And I said, like that's too good to be true, right? That is neat. And then they had a bunch of users make free accounts, load up a ton of pictures, and
Yeah.
log back in. And that's because, and Corey and I say it, sometimes we think the attrition rate of bakers is around 1 to 2 years, which is pretty high. So we'll have a bunch of bakers, they create these Instagram pages, and then you'll see that haven't been posted 2 and 2 years. And they were doing that same to that platform, and the hosting costs of all
Yes.
these images was tremendous. So what they've said is like, I think they're moving to a paid only plan. Don't quote me on that. I just think is
Yeah.
what he said. And then that the free users who have had years of free service are going to say either upgrade or you're going to go find another place. So again, that well-established thing is going to cost you money. And you guys had, Cast Iron had a very competitive free plan or a dollar plan or small commission plan
Yeah.
to something else. And then we have My Custom Bakes had a free plan, which is very gracious for people to offer that. And then it moves to something. So you can have that kind of, okay, am I wanting to save more money and I'm willing to switch when I have to? Or I hate switching. I hate making websites. I hate all the work. I don't want to switch anymore. I'm willing to pay a little bit more.
Yeah.
Point two.
I want to say if you are drawn by the free part of things, you lose the ability to have a say because your words cost $0. So it's zero
Right.
dollars.
Yeah, you're a free user. You're just along for that ride. So, you can say, I love that it's free, but then it's always a
Yeah.
ride and it's a wild one. Number two, is the host cost competitive? People always say, why did you put Core in Shopify in the cookie college? They say, why did you put Core in Shopify, but you won't teach us how to use it? And I said, because I find it to be very expensive. Shopify has been around for a very long time. Just off the bat, it's $30 for nothing for their free, their
Don't
low.
worry, Heather did teach you how to use it because a lot of people are like, well, I like the look of Corey's website. And that look of the website is not on a place like Cast Iron or My Custom Bakes. It's on a domain that's built on Shopify that I own that no one's going to be able to take out from under me unless Shopify says, I'm going to charge you $1 million. then they can have
It would be like you'll get a pen and paper and you will write your orders down and hand deliver.
it.
So are there a lot of hidden fees, which I find with, kind of WordPress maybe is on the cheaper side, but then you have a lot of vulnerabilities. Shopify has just a ton of different plugins you can do from the Shopify, I think they call it the Shopify App Store or something like that. But again, just it could really cost you some money. And then, or is it too good to be true? There's no hidden fees. Everything's real cheap. Everything's perfect. Is it too good to be true? Because that can only last for so long. I
That's an
mean, I'm
app
not.
sumo type deal where they're trying to get the user base up because they need investors. So while it does feel good, too good to be true, it is, and you can enjoy it for a hot minute, which
It's
we've
here for
done.
a good time, not for a long time. And if you say, okay, I love that it's too good to be true, and I'm willing to pay when that time comes, or I'm willing to risk that they shut down if that time doesn't come, then maybe are a too good to be true user, and you can go find those things. What I find with Corey's mentioning AppSumo, which is a marketplace for these lifetime deals of these new to market apps, for every lifetime deal I bought and is still around, there's one that I bought that has shut down. I got a massively discounted price, and on the ones that haven't booted me. We've lost money. I mean, I'm using that Wise Stamp email signature. I use an app called FeedHive, and I'm grandfathered in for life,
Yeah.
lifetime. Greater lifetime of me or lifetime of the day, we don't know. But I'm willing to exchange that. And then they'll be like, hey, just want to let you know we're shutting down. Okay. Well, it was good while it lasted, and I haven't paid anything for it. Okay, number three, is the host reaching promised milestones? And this is kind of what I saw with Cast Iron. Of course, I haven't interfaced with them for years. But kind of that, hey, we're doing all this stuff. Here's the roadmap for it. And I understand when you're what do you call it? Bootstrapping something.
Grassroots. Yeah.
Yeah, you're really subjective to how much money's incoming, how much your developer does, what problems you meet along the way. But if you see a massive list of promises and then none of those are coming to fruition, usually a sign that it's probably not something I'm going to use because I don't like switching websites as well.
Yeah, if you see a website platform that comes in, they've been maybe around for a year, and you can go scroll back through their social media, and they promised you invoicing, newsletter, all that, and you see that none of that has come to fruition. A lot of times, these newer companies will use the buzzwords to get people to sign up. Like, stay tuned, and we're going to have a SMS involved in there, and you're going to be able to text your customers when you have a pop-up and things like that. That's buzzwords to get people to sign up because the promise of something is great, but unless it's in a contractual format, it's just words at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that you scroll back through their social media, you see their promises, you ask in groups like Sugar Cookie Marketing, has anyone used this platform? What are your results with it? Have they been able to deliver on XYZ? And kind of see, are they following the path of direction? Because empty promises are empty. They're great to say, they look good on paper, but unless they come to fruition, you're just honestly speaking into the air.
I'm gonna say, even I find myself like we have the best laid plans of my span. Hey Corey, let's
Yeah.
launch this aspect of the cookie college. And then we look at it and we're like, nobody would use this. This would actually be a waste of time when there's something we could put our time towards that would be better for the overall group. But there may be one or two users who be like, oh, I really wanted that though. Okay, and I see that with kind of these website hosts. Here's all the things we'd love to do, but here's the ones that would actually have an impact, and here's the ones that would cost so much to implement, it wouldn't be worth it for anybody. So
Yeah. One thing I did like about Cast Iron was they had a Facebook group. It was called, I guess, The Kitchen at Cast Iron. And that's where they were able to see, hey, this is an idea we have. How many people would like this implemented in the website? And they were able to kind of see what the market said. Like a lot of times people were like, I don't think I'd ever use that. So I think like they had like try to push your favorites. Like you could do the favorites in your shop, and they're like, nah, I don't really want that. I don't want that on the invoice or whatnot. So it was able for them to kind of talk to their audience and see what people wanted versus what they thought people wanted.
that's what I always say. Like, okay, Eddie, the edible food printer, has a group, and sometimes people use it to lambast the company. And I want to be like, listen, you're lucky that there is even a product
Yeah.
support group for this. And if you abuse it, typically they're gonna be like, oh, we'll just take this to a support ticket. Because so I'm always gonna say, I love it when companies offer that. So you can talk to the creators and say, here's what I wish I could go. But I find that some people use it to use and abuse.
Yes. Like
Right.
what's crazy, and you'll even find it like in baking, in going to a restaurant. You could have gone to the same restaurant 52 times and it was amazing. It was fine. And you never said hide in our hair. We never saw you online. You never been like, went to Carrabba's and it was good today. But the one time Carrabba's
There was
dropped
a
the
hero like
ball,
calamari.
we're gonna hear about it everywhere.
Right. You're so consistent for years, but the one time you kind of miss a mark and then everyone's ready to burn down your house. Um, so that was number three. Number four, is the web builder interface something you can work with or easily understand? Now, this is a big one. Sometimes there, I can tell you, here's the 50 reasons why you should go to Shopify or WordPress, and you're like, this is so complex to me, I'm not even
Yeah.
going to use it. You can almost see it in the face of people when I'm like, this isn't going to work for you. It works. It's not going to work for how you work because
Yeah.
so much complexity to it, or so much customization, or so much of a learning curve that people just get that deer in the headlights stare. Then I'm like, it doesn't matter if it's the best thing in the world, it's not the best for you.
I like when I see someone self tell themselves they use an adjective, I am not tech savvy. And that is great to know.
Right, because right there, I'm going to tell you right now, probably not Shopify for you, but maybe Bakesy, maybe my custom bakes, which have
Yeah.
more of like a templated out format, so you don't have to customize it. Now, if you say somebody, one time when I was first getting started on websites, this guy came to me and he was like, "Here's what I'm thinking with the landing page. I want a drawing of me to jump out on a cloud, and as I scroll, I want me jumping from cloud to cloud to cloud." And then I want us to fall through the cloud. And you think I'm making that up. No, there was cloud jumping involved in this. And I had to say, like, hey, good for you. I can't do that. Nor would I think anybody would want to come to a website where you're jumping through clouds. So what I would say is if you say, hey, I'm willing to sit with a tech problem for an hour.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
say you probably master most of these. These are all optional. I'm willing to Google my problems. I'm willing to talk to
Yeah.
Vlad. But if you say, listen, I don't want to make an Upwork account to find a Vlad. I don't want to Google my problems. I just want to throw something up there and people can go to it. Then maybe you're looking at a Linktree thing. Maybe you're looking at just invoicing. Maybe you are looking at Bakesy or My Custom Bakes
Yeah.
has a little bit more flexibility.
Sometimes
So.
I say to Heather, I'm 36 years old and I don't want to learn anything new.
She's always like, hey, Corey, you can get a nice camera. Can we try to film this remotely with nice cameras? And she's like, no, I think that'll be fine with Zoom. I was like, well, at least she knows her boundaries.
But
And
Heather is the one who is willing to work through her issues, figure out. So a lot of times in the sugar cookie marketing group, posts that say, how much would you charge for this? Will get 52 million comments because it's easy to have an opinion. The posts that say, I am in my Shopify website. It's doing this and I needed to do this. What do those never get responded to because that is a lot more involved. But if you're willing to sit there and someone's like, I think I've done this, and you're willing to Google it, you're willing to get on support, those would be for you.
then
But
the
you know
other
who you are.
day,
You know who you
you
are.
know who you are. The other day, I go to my mom's house and her printer wasn't working. And, I look at my little sister because I hate being treated as the family IT help support desk. And I
You
said,
are the
Sam. She's like, yeah, I tried everything. So I go up there and set it up and I print off. I'm the favorite daughter and I hand it to my mom as an indicator that your printer's printing. She was like, what is this? I'm your favorite daughter because you printed it on your printer. She's like, how'd you fix it? And I was like, I Googled it. It was the first link when I Googled it. And they're like, wow, you're so great. And I think they just want me to continue offering free help support so they don't
Heather
have to.
wasn't Heather wasn't there on Saturday, but I went to Saturday to make the cookie quantum calendar, but there was no internet access. So I opened my computer and then I issued it. I said, this is for
Yeah.
another day.
If the internet goes out, are you the person down by the router holding the reset button? Or are you the person saying, well, I guess I'll go to Panera? That would indicate which kind of website builder interface you want. So again, when you go to the marketing group and you say, hey guys, what website builders is everybody using? You're going to get a ton of answers, and I like that. But I would say, hey guys, I'm not really tech savvy. What are the not tech savvy people using? And that way
Yeah.
you're going to find more people like you who know that they're not, they're like, hey, it's not a battle I want to fight.
Yeah. It's if you give a little bit more context, instead of being like, what website site platform do you use? Instead of me saying Cabela's the only one I've ever owned, 10 tray, now try to 9 tray dehydrator. If you say I'm not tech savvy, those who are not tech savvy, what do you use? You're going to have a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to recommend WordPress because it wasn't tech savvy, you know?
Yeah, or you set it and forget it, then I would be just different answers. People who are like, I really want it to be customized. I want to be jumping from cloud to cloud. I was like, maybe it's WordPress and Vlad. Maybe Vlad has a family that's willing to help you jump through clouds. Number five, and my last one, does a web interface shorten or lengthen your funnel? So this is a marketing podcast, right? And we always know websites will help you convert more. I can boldly say that because
Mhm.
even watch if you wanted to order a jacket. I've been in a spendy, goofy mood lately. I ordered some cotton on sweat zip up hoodies. Imagine
Was
that the
this
only,
was this another cotton on in addition to the
no,
blue one you had?
no, the one you
Okay.
saw. Please
Okay.
understand, there's two blue ones and a gray one. Ah, with imagine I say to Corey, and Corey, I was trying to get her to peer pressure buy a cotton on sweater. She didn't want it, so whatever, I bought it for myself. So imagine I say to Corey, the only way to get this is they have to journey to the mall, and it's the only way to get it. They've lengthened their funnel. Now, what I was able to
Yeah.
do with cotton on is I actually did both. I went to the mall and I ordered online because I was able to get a coupon online. So they shortened the funnel and they actually made more sales for that reason. So when I say lengthen the funnel, Corey actually took Shopify and elongated the funnel, which means it makes it harder to check out, which means she gets fewer orders. She did that intentionally, specifically because she wanted to really, really vet the orders that she took. Now, if you're like, hey girl, I need every order I can get, you're going to want to always look for ways to shorten that funnel.
Yeah.
The fewer the clicks, the more likely the sales. So we've been talking about the Vendy Blendy. I always have some Vendy show up and they have a really complicated discount code.
Hmm.
Tell them, hey, listen, you have elongated I can almost talk every vendee into using the same discount code. You're the only one who has it. What's going to happen is everyone's going to type in that wrong discount code because there's 71 other vendors that are using that discount code. You will lose sales because they now have to go back to the spreadsheet, reference your listing, which is very hard to
Yeah.
find that code, and then go implement it. They have elongated their funnel. There are reasons to do that. Corey's one of them.
Let me talk about mine. Okay, so I have a website, but I also use Jotform. And you're like, why do you have two? Here's the reason. A lot of bakers, when they're first starting off and, money is tight because they don't have orders coming in, they use something that like Google Forms. Google Forms is free if you have a Gmail account. Google Forms is great. It takes the information that I would have on a website, it takes it. The problem with Google Forms is that it's not professional looking. So it doesn't add a sense of confidence when I'm ordering. It just looks like a sheet of paper and you fill out the sheet of paper by typing it and it says, okay, it was submitted. And then you're like, okay, I don't know what to do with my hands now. It is great for someone starting out. It's not great on the professional realm. So I said, I really love my Jotform. Jotform's a step up from Google Forms because you can accept payment on Jotform. But I love that I could say, listen, here I am located in Woodbridge. Do not think that I'm not located in Woodbridge because I am located
It says it
in.
about 50 times that Corey and Woodbridge are on each other. So,
But
and
my
what happened,
website is professional looking. The job form is elongating my funnel, but it's getting me all the information. If I can have a customer come to my website and fill out my job form, I can turn that into a sale probably 98% of the time.
so Corey is using her elongated funnel to weed out tire kickers and orders she wouldn't want to take. Corey does not want to be a last minute baker. However, if you are a last minute baker, you want to keep that funnel as short as possible, which means they don't have to end up in your Facebook inbox and then you try to take the order there and then you send them an invoice.
Yeah.
And you always got to think, do I want a longer funnel? Corey had mentioned the link tree. She's added an extra click. So when you think of
Mhm.
funnel, think clicks. How many clicks to checkout are there? If you wonder, the shortest funnel, and I think it was patented for a while, is Amazon's single click to order. If you ever realize, if you think about it, every time you go to a website, there's add to cart and then there's a second button for checkout.
Yeah.
Amazon has click to order, which removes the
It's
second
called
button.
buy now.
By now, dangerous. I actually don't do that. I need to look at my cart. I need to
Yes.
get acquainted with the commitment I'm about to make here.
Yeah.
I need to talk to my credit card and be like, are we okay with this? Are you okay with
Yeah.
it? Are you going to be okay?
The
Um,
thing with something like Linktree and me and Heather from a lifetime deal figured out Shorby.
I love
Loved
me an
it.
LTD.
Yeah, but what Linktree and Shorby do is while I would never have like castiron.com/ Corey's baking business, that Linktree is similar, but in the fact that Linktree is a big established company. And within Linktree, you'll never guess, links, trees of links. The problem is do I want a customer to have to weed through my Amazon favorites? Technically, probably not because they're not bakers, so they don't want your Amazon favorites. But you lose them in the aspect when they have to go to your bio. They click your link tree. You have both your Facebook link in there and your, link tree link. So they have to choose which one. Link tree. Now they say, do I want my Amazon favorites? Do I want their affiliate code to Square? Do I want this? Oh, here's the link to order cookies. You've elongated, you caused a lot of homework for your end user, which results in people falling out of your funnel,
Meaning,
people who
yeah, they
order.
say this is too much. This was
Yeah.
too many clicks. I have actually intervened with my spending self, and we will be saving heretofore.
And that's why Amazon saves that customer, that buyer's remorse. They don't have time to it because they're clicking buy right now. So when you click buy right now, it's instantaneous and the customer can't have a moment to second guess themselves.
I find that if I place an order that I felt like maybe I shouldn't have, had there been just a second longer, would I have changed my mind?
Yeah.
But when I get place the order, I'm like, well, and then I start with a list of reasons why I should keep the order. Well, I mean, you need three hoodies even when you have 50 hoodies because you just don't know when that 51st hoodie is going to be needed. Kind of that convincing yourself. So the shorter the funnel, the more impulsive people can be impulsive and the more
Hmm.
likely they are to spend money. You may be like, Heather, but that you shouldn't help people take their money. Then don't be in marketing six. Don't run a business because at the end of the day, it's an exchange of commerce. Is your product valuable enough to me? Is it easy enough for me to get that is worth my blood, sweat, and tears that I've converted into money for it?
Yeah. Here's an example of one a big commission sale that went awry. It was if the more you put your end user through where they have to click, 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 the more options they have to fall out of your funnel and find someone else. My older sister is going to sell her house. So she actually reached out to two real estate agents. One texted back immediately. The other
Mhm.
one got back in just 1 hour. 1 hour is
And
nothing.
these
I could
were
have been
these
on
on
lunch.
weekends or was these on weekdays?
I think it was on a Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was 1 hour. That girl could have been at lunch. She could have been driving. The person who texted back immediately, they ended up letting them come and see the house to put in an offer or whatever real estate agent people do when they assess the value of the house. But it's saying like the longer your funnel is, the faster someone else is. If someone has a shorter funnel, it's going to be easier for those people to check out with that person. So you could lose a sale just for that. I had one lady that requested, and she did request a last minute order. And I got back to her in the morning. Then I stuck true to my business hours, and I got back to her the next morning. She's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I confirmed with someone last night."
And you may say to yourself, well, I'm better, faster, stronger, better baker. My icing bleeds less. My cookies taste better. At the end of the day, if you think of terms of yourself, if you had to hire a roofing company, are you going to climb on your neighbor's roof and see how their quality is before you make the decision? No, it really comes down to that website looks pretty good. They got back to me really quickly. They have decent reviews. I'm going to just
Yeah,
take a leap.
yeah. It's very fast. You think a lot of me and Heather are very fast buyers. I have an idea,
I
and
don't
I'm
want
like,
to
I want
intervene.
that now.
Why
But
now?
you
Why later? When now?
But you could think like, well, I'll get back to these people in a few days, or my website, I'm having them DM to order via Facebook, and then I'm going to get back to them via email from that Facebook. I'm going to ask them what their email address is. That longer funnelness that you're doing is going to cost you sales. I
Uh-huh.
say that from someone who has costed myself sales.
And if you guys listen to the past podcasts and taking breaks or slowing down or just throttling orders, the way we recommend to throttle orders rather than make that big announcement that you're closing is to elongate the funnel so that it's just harder for people to place orders. You're still there, you're still active, you
Yeah,
still get some money, but you're able to thwart a lot of those sales intentionally.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you need a throttle back up, then you shorten that funnel and you'll get more orders.
Yeah, yeah, that is how you do it. Whatever you choose, though, it's going to be something that you like. So there is no wrong answer. If you don't use Shopify, I'm not going to think less of you. I'm not going to be like, well, you're not as good as me. No, you've gotten something that works for you. That's why when you go into the groups and you ask, what are you using? Just know that whatever they use, it works for them. It might not be the best fit for you.
In fact, in the Baker's Business Basics courses, I actually say, let's set this up using a Google form. It's not as customizable. And then we send the invoice through Square Invoices. So that's great if you're getting started, especially when you're like, every dollar counts. I don't have a ton of time. I can't take a ton of orders. I don't want to spend a ton of money on a website host.
Yeah.
What is my entry level options here? And that's one I'd actually would recommend if you're just, like I'm friends and family and one other person, I would say, let's try there. Yes, there's a better answer. Yes, more
Yeah.
professional. Yes, more money. But at the end of the day, it's just where you're at in your business.
Yeah.
That is the correct answer.
If you love to think that I'm in an oversaturated area, which a love bakers love to say I'm in an oversaturated area, the few things, since we're all buying from the same cutter shops and only Labubus are trending now, the things that can set you apart is a more professional website that gives the customer ease of use, which is
Mhm.
through the design that makes them feel confident in the buying process.
You listened to the Diamond podcast we did a couple weeks ago. They're in our favorite mall with the season 52, which is funny. You use the number 52, and I was wondering if you had season 52 in the brain.
I might.
When
I
I get
might.
back, think about it. When in that podcast we talk about how is there like eight luxury jewelry diamond stores, and then they're all able to operate within the same mall's walls. And that's because they're able to say, I'm going to have a really great website experience like Blue Nile. So you can use that as a differentiator to be more competitive in a saturated market. I always tell people when you say the word, it's saturated, so I'm going to quit. You just haven't sought out how to carve your unique spot to get that slice of the
Yeah.
pie
Hmm.
because you don't have to be successful you don't have to be the only one to be successful.
You wouldn't want to be the only one because that means the industry is not successful.
That's what I always say with the gas station comparison. When you go in a small town and there's no gas station, someone's like, I got a great idea. I'm going to open a gas station. I'll be the only one. They have to come to me. Likely there's no gas station because the free hand of the market, the invisible hand, didn't direct somebody to there because it was unprofitable at one time, right?
Yeah.
So where
So,
there's competition, there is money. That is something to keep in mind. So, yeah, good luck for the people migrating from cast iron. Don't be overwhelmed. It just happens. Just follow that kind of strategic process. I would say that one day you'll log in and nothing will be there. So, definitely operate off of that. The longer you put this off, the more you're going to be frantic. So, I like to front load my efforts so I can backload my anxiety and Botox.
yeah. 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 Agreed.
Okay, moving on to the Cookie College. You know, it's so funny. We actually had two Cookie College members give us a class, a Cookie Class kit. They made them themselves.
Yeah.
They're allowed to do that. We've had probably five or six people make a class and offer it to other members at no additional
One
cost.
was
So,
a Wix class.
yes, one was a Wix class. And the class is a Cookie Class kit for apple picking season, and another one for Taylor Swift's October 3rd, 5th. Somebody, a Swiftie is screaming at me right now.
Her showgirl one.
Sugar one, and it drops on one of those 2 days,
Yeah. I
the
don't
third or
know.
the fifth. Swifties, correct us.
It's
Um,
very close to the date of each other.
very, very
But
close to those days. I think our older sister are big Swifties, and they're going to listening parties.
yeah.
We'll go to a season 52 party and listen to the hum of the mall traffic. Because it's time to be going to the mall and getting into the fall season. My favorite gift at Christmas is people watching at the mall.
People watching with the twinkle of lights
And they have their shopping bags and they're all in good. We live in
and
North Virginia.
they're rushing around.
They're getting the discounts and their deals, and they got their little three-wood candles. We live in a highly populated area, and it's just a lot of people and a lot of traffic, and people get kind of rude. Can you blame them? We're all sitting in hours long worth of traffic. I swear the whole area gets a little bit nicer.
It gets a
Come,
little nicer. It does. And there's so many people. The places me and Heather like to eat. Seasons 52 has this, it's open to the mall. So it's not a closed restaurant. You can sit at these tables and stare outside. And then right across is Coastal Flats, which also has a stare outside place. So we just stare outside from both.
I want to let you know the wait staff knows her name in both locations. Because I like to see it. So the Cookie College, we're actually working, and I know we mentioned this in a few podcasts ago, but just like the podcast topic today, we'd said something, went back to the drawing board, said, let's do this a little bit differently. It'll be better for everyone involved. So my correct statement is we were going to give away a free birthday class to anybody listening to this, a class kit. So you can see how the class kits work. Well, we ended up making that a cookie class kit. So it was actually paid. And Corey came up with this adorable design that gives you more opportunity to market to more people if you want to think about cookie classes for fruit. And it's so cute.
It would be great for a summertime class. It's great. It's free. So we just talked about freeloaders. If you wanted to see what was in the class kits, this is the class for you. You're going to experience it all. The one thing you don't get and that no one gets is we do partner with Sweet Pink Olive, and she makes the cutters. You can buy STLs or you can buy the cutter files from her. But everything else, you get the decorating videos, you get the marketing materials, you get the PowerPoint, you get the piping practice sheet. That is all included in the class kits, but it's also still included in this free class.
So this will be a word for word. I may add some how-to videos just so you understand how it all works. So I don't record a video in every class kit we drop. We just dropped the cutest one. I had my doubts with this one. It was a Halloween one. Corey was working on it. And I was like, I don't know. I hope it turns out cute. But I always do the post. I always produce the class. So I'm looking, I was like, oh shoot, this is stinking cute.
It
And
is well.
it dropped, actually dropped it a little bit early because I had to go out of town. So, but it is available for purchase in either the Cookie Class Kids membership or the Cookie College. The bonus, the benefit to signing up for the Cookie College is you get 3 Halloween classes to choose from because every year we archive the class kits and put them only in that membership. So I think last year was a skeleton class and the year before was somebody said that this is
Atypical.
classic Halloween this year. And then 2, 3 years ago was cute
Agreed.
Halloween.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree. That was the bat, you know, the
listen, I've
bat
never
doll.
forgotten about the bat. There's a new bat, and he's very cute. The crazy bat.
I love the
Bat
crazy bat though.
crazy.
I love the crazy
The
bat.
crazy bit. So yeah, that was very cute. So I'll be working the fruits class, and I'll be adding those additional classes. We're moving into class printing money season. If you've been in the sugar cookie marketing group, Corey and I have been posting daily class teaching tips, tricks, things that we do, things that we try that we don't like, things that we should do and we don't. So you guys can look. What was that hashtag again?
It was
September
hashtag
Cookie Classes Month.
September Cookie Classes Month.
Yeah, we thought it'd be fun to take the group each month through a different topic and kind of.
Heather, seeing as she was doing this push, I knew the time to strike was hot. So I signed us up. This was crazy. A lady reached out and she wanted an in-home class. Me and Heather have only done a handful of those, mostly two children, you know, but this lady wanted her and her friends to do an in-home class right down the road. So I said, Heather, if you truly want to see how in-person classes are, so we are, and that's on the docket for November 6th.
Yeah, it's an in-person private class at someone's house, which I don't like doing. But Corey said we got to do it for content so we can tell people how it's done.
Just
Here,
because that is an avenue. If you can't find a venue that fits your price range, you know, they either are
yeah.
charging too much. A great way to get around that is create these in-person classes. And it's almost like MLMers who throw parties, who host parties. This is a great way where people can get their friends and families in one location. So it takes the marketing off your shoulders because you're not trying to get people to sign up to go into someone's home. So this lady, I said, hey, if you can get 10 people to sign up, I'll teach the class in your house. And she said, I have 10 people. Let's do this.
How did she want to do it? We were ta talking about creating a private Eventbrite link, which you can create a private event in Eventbrite and give that link to specific people and still set all the restrictions and offer the add-ons. Or
Hmm.
Corey's just going to invoice her a flat fee through an invoicing software like QuickBooks. Which one did she
Yeah.
pick?
So she ended up choosing, she wants her friends to be able to pay, which actually benefits me and Heather because they can purchase an add-on kit that way instead of just invoicing them and her paying it and her collecting from her friends. Creating the Eventbrite, which they will have to do. We do pay a fee for that, you know, each person that signs up. It does give them the ability to sign up for a take-home kit if they want to. And I'll be so curious if they do. So,
And that is good for her because if a friend doesn't pay, she's not out the money, which I'm with you there, girly.
yes.
But it's also good for us because we create 10, assuming she's having 10 friends.
She said she had 10. So
So we'd get
we're in
each.
uncharted territory. When we create this Eventbrite link, she has told me 10 friends will sign up. Will 10 friends end up clicking and signing up for the Eventbrite link, or will she say, well, I only had 5 friends that ended up being able to do it? Then we're going into uncharted territory where I'll be like, that's not enough for us to want to come out there.
Corey and I agreed because of my bad attitude, we have an 8 minimum. So if she got 2 people to cancel, we still do it. That's what we said.
So
Anything
I
for
told her 10, and I said if 2 people didn't show, because who knows what will happen until
And
November
then here's
6th.
my question. Since, okay, the cookie class kits, we're still talking about the cookie college. We've been offering those class kits since 2023. So that's whatever, 3 years. I think we have 10 this year. So 24, we almost have 34 classes, 33 classes. And then you're going to get the fruits class and this, course working in a Thanksgiving class. I say I create these grids, these graphics that have all these classes, your one stage photos so that because people, bakers will say, hey, which class do you want to pick? Is she
Yeah.
picking the class that she wants you to teach?
I sent the grid to her and I said, here's another prerequisite if we come to your house is you have to choose from one of my pre-done classes. I sent her that grid. She's chosen one. I'm not sure which one it is. I said I would follow up in an email, but she's chosen one from the grid.
I can't wait to figure out which one she chose. I hope it is an easy one.
They all are. I hope it's a holiday one just because it'll be festive.
It's November, so it'll be interesting. And then we'll do a podcast on that. I'm sure something will go left instead of right, so we'll have some more stories.
Yes.
Hopefully, it's not leaving the icing, but we'll have to see.
At
Okay, if
least
you
she's
guys
in
want
Fairfax,
to,
right down the
okay,
road.
from the icing. If you guys want to learn more about the Cookie College, you can check it out at thecookiecollege.com. Fun stuff. I just dropped the digital downloads kit. If you listened a couple of podcasts ago, we changed the digital downloads to be something we find that the audience would like more. And it's these kits where you get cookie care, or you get a cookie card, a cookie backer, a cookie tag, a pattern, a transfer sheet, an STL, and they all match to make this cute little thing. So this one is Thanks for All You Boo, and it's got a pumpkin theme. And Corey took some professional photos, really well staged photos of that kit, and I'll post them here soon. But that is included in the Cookie College membership. It's the first time we're allowing those to be purchased individually for $10. Or, much better deal, just sign up for the digital downloads for the same $10 and get everything within that membership.
Yeah, because Heather did one before this kind of this inclusive kit and it's a fall theme. So both have not happened. So if you signed up, you get both. Those would be good for fall and Halloween.
Yeah, just a little kit that gives you a bunch of options. Now, I have those, I have a post scheduled to go up on the Facebook, the Sugar Cookie Marketing Facebook page, and you can see what that kind of looks like. And I'll tease you with the photos Corey did of the Thank Boo class, or the Thank Boo kit, because it was very cute. Okay, moving on to the STL Me About It. This is Cookie Design Labs sponsored
Segment.
segment. Thank you so much. And you can use code TWINS to get 15% off. They have a 5-day trial, which I really do like. If you're like, hey, listen, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time. I just need one custom cutter, and they've added a ton of features. I was using it. It's actually the cutter builder that I use for the digital downloads kit.
Oh, nice.
So I am able to create the graphics in Illustrator and just drop that PNG image into Cookie Design Lab, click a button, and it automatically traces out that design. And I can make some tweaks. I can round out the handle. I can change the sizing. I can flip the cutter. I can add text to wall, which is always my hated thing to do in Fusion. When I try to do it in Fusion 360, it creates this really, really long line of words that are very far from the cutter. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Is it
But
dish love?
yeah, I think,
One
what
thing
is
I
that?
like about you not being here is I can play
Who
with that.
knew that Corey had a bunch of props for the podcast today? You can see whatever that was if you listen to the YouTube channel.
Oh,
Oh, Audioland said, "What is that? I'm so curious."
the
Okay.
sound, it was crazy.
I'll be so curious if this podcast turns out because we've got now two separate audio. I've got a Zoom camera view and I've got a professional camera view, and then we'll edit it. It'll be interesting. But we have some texting questions. One, two, three, four, five, six.
Three.
One, two, three. Okay, this person, you have won a month of Cookie Design Lab. Your phone number starts with 289. What do you think that is?
289. 289 sounds like West Virginia.
It is Southern Ontario, Canada. Sometimes
Oh,
I forget that
I
other
was far
countries have
off.
phone numbers. You just don't think about it. I didn't realize, I thought area codes, and call me ignorant, Canada, were a United States thing because we had so many areas.
But they have a lot of, what do you call them? Not, what do they call their
Territories?
sections?
Territories?
Territories. They have
Providences?
territories.
Providences?
Providences and territories.
Maybe a plural providence is providenci, like octopi. Anyway,
Providai.
yeah, but when I see other countries, when I see the other side of the world, their phone numbers start with zero. I always know it's not on the Western Hemisphere when it starts with zero. Okay, here's a text. Loving the podcast this week about cookie classes. I gotta just expand this. I have a little extra screen for my laptop. You would like this. Loving the podcast this week about cookie classes. I just wanted to let you know around the 39-minute mark, there was a constant tapping sound in the background of your podcast, like a finger tapping on the table. And who do we think that could be? I did hear that. And I'm sorry, I actually run both of these. Yes, it's your
What are
leg.
you doing?
Your leg
Oh,
was
my
shaking
leg.
and it was hitting the podcast cable and it was knocking against the table. I use Adobe Audition to produce the podcast, right? There's a button where I can tell it to try to find like phantom noise, like fans or background humming and remove it. It can only do so much when Corey taps. Hey, listen, you have a little anxiety, you can let it out to that leg, girl. The whole Miracle family twitches their legs like that. Maybe not my dad. So whatever that therapy session is that we need. But anyways, thanks for the feedback. And for everybody else, if you want to hear what that is, it's a 39-minute mark. It is annoying, but it only lasts for about a minute.
Thank you.
60 seconds
And
left.
sorry about that. Sometimes I am a pletcher. I do like something in my hand. I like to pletch with things. And if something's not in my hand, my leg will shake. And since Heather took everything out of my hands, my leg was the
I
last thing.
cannot, because, okay, I'll give you a soft thing to fidget with next
I just
podcast.
needed to have some either a rounded edge, a clickle
But just
thing.
for some reason, you find a way to make it make noise. Dragging it
I
across the
know.
table, dropping it, throwing it across the room, whatever it is. So, anyways, thank you so much, 289. And I'm glad that you like the talk about the classes. I thought it's been fun to write about it in the group.
I have to.
Another one. Now, not a winner, but first in our hearts, 510 area code. What do you think that is?
510. That is Norfolk. Just kidding.
Oakland, California.
Oh, it's exactly the farthest point
That
away.
That's far. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. The first part of it, 510 equals California. That's the first part. So funny. Hi, twins. I'm trying to find different avenues to market myself because sales are slow. And I want to do pre-sales for the holidays this year. What are the benefits of creating a Facebook group specifically for this? And how should it be managed and run? Any help is appreciated. Great question. What she's saying is you can make a Facebook page. Okay, great. You can make an Instagram page. Okay, great. But you can also create other things within these platforms that hit different algorithms. Now, if you
Mhm.
saw the Get Ready with Me I talked about last week that I did, it hits the live feed. Now, what she's asking is within Facebook, you can create private groups. Now, Corey and I have tried this with our sugar cookie classes, meaning if you come to a cookie class, I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to have you join this Facebook group. It's another thing to manage. Con
Mhm.
number one. Because you're already posting content to your Facebook page, so that natural inclination to cross post, the lazy cross posting is right there. And trust me, I only can preach about it because I've done it myself. Call me to that altar. I'm a cross posting sinner.
Yeah.
However, groups are conversational and pages are more of like broadcasts. So she wants to start a group. You're going to want to make that really conversational. Now, here's my hybrid solution to this. I do find it hard to run a Facebook group and keep its energy going, especially when you get started, especially when the only reason why somebody would join is to be sold to.
Yeah.
I would find a community group and treat it, kind of cultivate it. We talked about that in a couple podcasts. Cultivate that community group to become a sales leader. So that way somebody else is doing the hard work of managing it and you can just kind of swoop in there and make your sales.
Yeah. The thing with pre-sales is an audience needs to be primed for pre-sales. So my audience, and I've said this millions of times, is primed for customs because that's what I enjoy making. I like to know what's on the docket for next week. Pre-sales are people who don't want a 12, they don't want a dozen. They're willing to just get one of something. So those two people are different people oftentimes. People who plan for parties like to plan ahead. People who like pre-sales are planning a lot closer to whatever the event is. If you wanted to form a group now, it's hard to get a group going, let me tell
Mm.
you. Your page is already established though. So
Mhm.
if your page even has 400 to 500 followers, that's 400 to 500 followers that aren't in the group. So
Right.
I would say, since we're coming into the season that you want to do it, instead of creating a whole nother group that you have to now create unique content for and get them engaged, very tough to do. Let me tell you, very, very tough. I would do this marketing strategy. If you've built your house on custom orders, I would say do some giveaways. I have 5 skeleton cookies. Like I made those leaf cookies for Heather's digital downloads last week. Those are 5 leaf cookies that I can in turn be like, I have
Right.
five
The
of
word she
his
was looking for is
customers.
very, very cute. Very, very cute leaf
They're
cookie.
very, very cute, and the tag makes them super cute. I can do is use these kind of giveaways to prime my audience for these kind of smaller buy-ins. So instead of being like always posting my custom orders, posting just this leaf cookie with a cute tag and be like, I've made these for content, but I'm looking to give them away. It can kind of put into your audience, oh, look, she sells these one-off things. She has these one-off things that she offers. And you can kind of get your audience warmed up for a Halloween drop. Great for that fall, Thanksgiving for teachers, huge, and then Christmas, just another huge one. And it's getting your audience primed for that versus starting a whole new initiative. Lot harder to do, especially when we get busy. Let me tell you, the first thing that
And
falls off is group
those Facebook
alignment.
groups, because the
Yeah.
Facebook groups are so much more involved than the pages.
Yeah,
Um,
me and Heather have that local community group. The amount of memes and the amount of posts that I'm trying to get people involved in, they won't make those posts on their own. So like I post what was an expensive luxury item you would buy again. That has no value to anybody, but it gets people engaged and it puts my group post back into their feed when they do engage. But that's a
yeah,
lot of work to do.
when I say it's a lot of work, and Corey drags me, I don't even live in the area, but I have to make half the post you're talking about. If you were to make one of the other group, I would create a community group because by the nature of how community groups work, people will post other content that attracts more people. Then use that one to make sales. And again, it's a massive strategy. It's
Yeah.
not for the faint of heart. If you're already saying like, I don't know, just a little something, something, maybe a Facebook ad or using somebody else's community group or creating that newsletter and talking about it there. Obviously, you can say with much PTSD, we have warned you. In a perfect world, a private Facebook group is great, and you'd pour all
Sure.
the time and effort into it, and you'd see great results. I just think a lot of us are limited by time, especially in that holiday season.
And you'll see, and me and Heather are guilty of this, if a class sells out, so we have this cookie classes group for people who've taken my class. when the classes sell out, I'm not drawn to post in that group because my class sold out. So the group did what it was supposed to do. The classes sold out, but now the group is dying off because one, there's nothing for them
Yeah, because
to
I can't tell
join.
them to sign up. We're right. It's weird.
So you'll see as your pre-sales big in December, you probably don't have a pre-sale in January. You're going to see that your posts fall off because once you sell out of your December pre-sale or your November pre-sale, you don't have any more content because you're like, well, I'm not offering anything anymore. I'm sold out. And then you'll see that you'd start falling out of feeds because you don't have any content to produce to get them still interested.
Question for you. If you could go back in time, would you have created the Sugar Cookie Classes group?
I would have created it a long time ago when we were doing 3 classes a day and really it's a numbers game, right?
For every 10 people we teach, 2 people join the group. Although we had 5 people join it from the last class. Did you see I've scheduled out a post a week that is
You did.
informational about some picture I have of yours and I'm explaining, here's the gel we've got on, here's how we
Yeah,
use it.
and unfortunately, I can't post my custom orders in there. Those people are there to learn, so they
Right.
need to have content for learning. So my content isn't even shareable to the both of them.
So Corey will create content for like you guys and like here's a cellophane bag I use, and then she'll
Yeah,
post it to those guys with a different voiceover. So I'm like, did I see this? No, I didn't. Oh wait, I did.
you did. You did.
Last one I'm going to read. Kaylee, she had messaged in last week and the week before, and she said, here's my attempt to win again. Kaylee, listen, keep going, girl. Keep going. You're so close. Maybe bribe Corey with a number. Maybe subliminally send her a number. Again, luck of the draw. Not a winner, but I do think her texts are pretty funny. She says, here's my attempt to win again. A new set of questions for both of you. Okay, number one. If the pets in your lives could talk, which one would be the rudest? That little snake that I have. It
Yeah.
hates everybody and it hates me a lot, and it kind of hates Corey when she walks into the room. It
Hmm.
is a snake that burrows, so it buries itself, and but it is so nosy. They said a
He
happy
wants to stare at me. He wants to look at me.
if you walk in that room, that dude's like they said a happy hog nose is one that is stalking you because they just like to look. And that dude, I bought that hog nose snake because they were supposed to play dead when they thought they were being threatened. This dude would rather die than play dead.
Yeah.
He's they don't know how to hiss. They have a weird face. They have almost like a pig nose. And in terms of snakes, I know they're not cute, but this has got to be the cutest one.
He's
They're not
very
cute
cute.
though.
He looks like a worm with a nice
He
face.
looks like a worm, but because they're so weirdly formed, they're a desert snake. They don't know how to hiss, so they snort. That's why they call them puff adders because they try to look like other snakes because they don't have a lot of protection mechanism. But
I'm
it
sure
doesn't
that's
matter.
why they got the name Hog Nose, a
Yeah, that's because
snorting
of the
nose.
the beak. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny because he'll snort when people walk into the room, but it scares him every time because he doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just snorting constantly. He's just kind of like, oh, you're awake. Sometimes I'll know my cat is on top of his cage when I hear the snorting. So I was like, oh, come on, cat, get out of there. Now, you
Yeah.
have 2 cats, of which you have Ray and Rue. Who would be Rue?
Rude would be the rudest would be the rudest. No,
Rue, Corey? I call Rue Corey's divorce kitty because she got him when she was going through divorce, and that was forever ago.
it was forever ago. Rube is turning 15 this year. So she's not rude by any stretch. She's just stuck in her ways. Same girl, same.
I pulled up to pick up Corey's kid or something. I remember what I was coming over for, and Rue was like looking at me through a bush. What are you doing? Inside.
Rube is she's a very good cat. She has been with me through thick and thin. She's seen the best and the worst of me. So I gotta say, even if she's not a cuddly soul, she'll walk
Yeah.
around though.
Yeah, she will walk around. That cat will move.
My son loves her and loves the fact that he could maybe make her love him and she
Yeah.
won't.
Wait, listen, with every pet, we have that little hope. We just hope. Please
We
love me.
just hope and pray.
I'm a briber. Hey, you know what? You see, if I see your pet, I'm going to give it a treat. I don't care if you don't want it to have a treat. I'll sneak one. I'll find a
That's
way to get a treat
yeah.
to that pet.
That's
And it,
why Rube and Ray like me. I'm the pet giver. I use my thumbs to get cheese and cat treats. That's all I do.
you said you're the pet giver, but I think you mean the treat giver. But I also see you giving pets to
I'm
your
the
pet.
pet giver to the treats. If you want a treat, I'll give you a pet.
Number two, would you rather always have to hop on one foot or always have to skip everywhere you go? Skip.
Skip,
Bar none,
skip,
bar none. You should have seen me
skip.
in middle school. We're
I
skipping.
can skip fast. Yeah.
Yeah, once you get the hang of it, you can get anywhere. They were running towards me. No, they were coming towards me. Ah, I feel like you just cover more ground and you look
I
like you're having a really good
do.
time.
And you'll have amazing calves when you're done.
Corey's gonna be like, she was reported running away from the cops. I mean, she was reported skipping away from the cops at an unprecedented. You've never
If I
seen
think I'm sweet her husband.
And number three, what's the weirdest thing you've ever put on a sandwich?
Heather thought my bologna and cheese was
And
weird.
that shows you how boring I am. That bologna is pushing the limit. So that's all I got. I love to eat. I went to a new restaurant that opened that was a Korean fried chicken sandwich, and I usually don't get that. I just said to the waitress, I love doing this. I said, what would you get if you're here? And then she was like, you gotta get this. I was like, that's pretty good. If that's really boring, that the fact that my most crazy sandwich is a chicken
It
one.
is. It is.
Number four, if you were a kitchen appliance, which one would you be and why? Corey would be the freezer section of a fridge because she's so cold. Just kidding. I think I'd be a dishwasher because I like to clean stuff.
Heather would be a microwave because she's so loud.
Radio frequency. That's an interesting question. Everyone in podcast land, what
No, I'm
appliance?
going to tell you, every baker's going to be like, I'd be a mixer.
But you're not because you have to, you can't say what you use the most. Which appliance embodies your personality? Some of you are going to be air fryers. Some of you guys are going to be blenders.
Is that air fryer because they're full of hot air?
Probably. I've never used an air fryer before, but I've heard great things. Some of you are going to be crock pots because you're full of crock. Just kidding. And last one. If you were to be a background character in any TV show, which would you pick? Any Tom Cruise movie so I could possibly
She
meet him.
said TV show fam.
Corey watches TV show. I know I'm going to be the feature in a Forensic Files fire breaking down on the side of the road. I had to drive. I'm switching. The reason why I'm not at home right now, I'm switching out my cars to the antique 30 something year old Viper and go to start it. Dead as a doornail. You might have
If it
said,
started, I would have been more surprised if it started than
you
if it
know,
didn't
I
start.
I said, I said to the little green car, which I can see right there. I gotta watch it. I said, "What are you gonna do? What's gonna be your trick?" And it was like, "I got a few." So I'm gonna drive it around for the next couple of days, see if something else can break on it, and then if it
Ah,
breaks,
so back to the question at hand. There is a show, and I cannot remember, but I watched it, but it's these two brothers and they're demon hunters. And I can't remember if
did
it's
you watch the
called.
K-pop Demon Slayer thing that's taking the world by storm?
No, but someone did an order for it, so it's very unfortunate because I have no idea what that means.
You love to binge
But
Netflix, and I gave you my login.
oh yeah, no, don't log in because I've been watching.
You don't know what I'm gonna do. They're gonna log in.
Don't have so
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't let you share accounts anymore, but I don't know how I've been able to log into Heather's Netflix, but I am in.
The reason why, if you haven't watched Unknown Number, I said, break all the rules, break the terms of service. I need you to watch this. I gave her my login, even though I pay for it, and she's a cheap girl and does not. And she binged it now because I needed to talk. Did you talk about it on Saturday without me?
Did, did I no, did I watch it on Saturday?
Yeah, I texted it to you because Ashley had watched it before I left, and I wanted to talk with her
I think
about
we
it.
briefly touched on to it, but Mother had not watched it.
Fair, fair, fair. Oh, would you say which one you're going to be? A
I did
K-pop?
talk about it at the orthodontist office.
Listen,
The lady.
I talked about it with a stranger, and she's like, I haven't seen it. I said, well. Now, I can't really say anything because they don't want to spoil it. But if you're listening, go watch Unknown Number. It's on Netflix. It's about an hour-long documentary. I like a documentary, but Corey likes short documentaries, and she said she was,
Preemptively, there are some text messages with cursing in there, so
don't watch it with your children.
yeah. Also, don't text your children that stuff.
That would also be, you're like going to end up in a documentary, and we will be watching it and talking about it on a podcast. Last part, she said, and she said, I am saying this to get an extra entry. I love how dedicated she is. Keep
I
cooking.
feel so bad.
She says the Vendy Blendy countdown on the Cookie College website is both stressing me out and exciting me. So Corey and I talked about the Vendy Blendy. I'm going to start getting vendors in again, chicken and the egg thing. I'm going to start working on vendors in September. We're going to start promoting it to you guys in October, and then we're going to pummel you and drown you in it in November.
But
And
listen, we will need you guys to get more cookie cutter shops. A lot of shops have either closed down or taking breaks. Totally fine. Great for them to have, choose themselves over that. But we need more cookie cutters.
Corey always wants cookie cutter shops. So if you know of a shop and you can kind of like whisper sweet nothings to him, you could send them my way and I could be happy to talk to them. What I talk about, we have a cookie lab coming up called the Blind Baker Collab. Let me explain. Corey finds this to be a complex. It's just a collab where you're going to flood a white circle cookie. Do that with your eyes wide open. Let
Yeah.
it dry. Put in your Cabela's dehydrator. Then you're going to record yourself decorating that cookie with a pumpkin while you're blindfolded. The point of this, because usually typically these collabs have the side effect of marketing, is the video is the marketing. It's a Reels world. It's a vertical video world, and we're just living in it. A lot of us are too timid and we like to post up pictures because we said, what would we even record? Here is the excuse. So now you can say to your audience, this is going to be funny because I never do Reels
Yeah.
videos, but this is a collab I'm a part of, and I'll help you with a copy for that. And I want to see how good of a baker I am when I can't see anything at all. The
What
point is,
this is doing, marketing wise, instead of always selling at your customer or taking those really professional looking photos of cookies, we're putting you in front of the camera in video form. Video right now, let me tell you, is outperforming everything.
here's what I tell you. Corey had accidentally come up with this kind of funny series. Our older sister is also in marketing, a different, completely different iteration, but she was like, hey, series work in terms of video. Why? Because we're nosy. I'm nosy. Hello. Yes. If there's a documentary about you doing something wrong, I will watch it. I will watch it a few times and tell my friends about it. So series are getting that nosiness and in video form where we want to hear the person with their inflections tell us about it. I don't have time to read all the time. I do have a ton of time to pipe some audio through my car and listen to it. So Corey had decided to do a taste test challenge regarding the aging of a cookie in a cello wrapped bag,
Yeah.
pizza bag.
Uh-huh.
And then she accidentally, instead of doing 14 cookies, she accidentally bakes 25. Nobody knows why to this day. And then she tasted them each day. The concept is so weird. It's so simple, but it is the highest performing content in terms of videos because of all these things. And then she had her husband on it. She had my grandmother on it. She had her son on it. I think Ray, you had him on it.
Ray
And
was on it, my dying.
Munch
But
got on it.
what I want to say is while I love, there is this on TikTok, it went super viral. It was Who the F Did I Marry? And it was a series of who this lady married and why she married him. So many people locked into it because they love to hear, they don't know this lady, they don't know her husband, but they wanted to hear this whole story. And this was a series. So a lot of times when you say part one, part two, part three of why blah, 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 those perform very well. So I was testing it outside of my normal one and done videos where I say, let's make a cute set. Oh, and I'm obsessed because I
What
say
is
that
your
all the time.
takeaway?
My takeaway is consistency. A lot of times I did not want to turn on the camera. Most every night, that was against my will. But then I said, I don't have to have my hair super done. I don't have to have a cute outfit on. It can be just in my cookie room. The lighting doesn't have to be perfect. And people were still there to watch it. So even though everything wasn't exactly perfect the way I wanted it, which a lot of us wait for the perfect timing and holds us back, just putting the content out there was worth it. And because I didn't have to take like everything shower, blow dry my hair,
I
finding
thought
a
you
cute
did a good
outfit.
job. You were like, I just got out of the shower, and then you're like, my face is red because I was trying this treatment, and then you're like, I went to the gym. I was like, wow, girls, just putting it out. But you were very consistent, and I think it really did show. So this collab is actually September 26th. Corey's going to create a demo for me so you can kind of know what she's doing. But the point is, it's not about perfection, it's about putting yourself out there. That's the real goal here. And then we're
Mhm.
giving you an excuse because you can tell your audience, I know I don't do this, but this is a collab. And then I think you're going to find good performance because I want to see what you got I want to see what the
Yeah,
pumpkin like.
yeah.
You try your best, but I think you're going to find that the more crazy this pumpkin looks, the better he is going to perform. But Corey will be creating a video demonstration for us of what that would look like so we can
Sure.
kind of know what to do. I think it's pretty simple. Just ice a white cookie. I don't care if he was already baked a while ago. We just want a white background so that that pumpkin pops.
So
We want
what
that
I'm
pumpkin to
planning
pop.
to do, and just for this kind of video content, this example is I'm going to film myself with two different cameras so we can have two different aspects. So you can see what the piping looks like, but you can also see what my face looks like.
And if you
Um,
say, "Well, girls, you just lost me. They only have one camera," just record your hands. It is, and then just pick up your phone and hold it next to your face. It is not. Don't overthink this one.
yeah,
And if you
it
hate
is.
it, you can archive it at the end of the collab, and you are not nobody is none the wiser, and you still got the engagement on your page, and we all had a good time. So September 26th is that one. If you want to sign up and register and get help with the copy, you can go to the events tab in the Sugar Cookie Marketing group.
We're all,
Sponsors. You wanted to talk about Baking Me Crazy. You just had me look up their website. Oh, I lost my camera. I'll go back to
oh,
this one.
gosh darn
Undo.
it. Bake Me Crazy is online shop, but we actually delved in because I said I need to order some things, and I asked Heather, look her up, does she have Americolors on there? She does have Americolor and Color Mill. So if you don't know what the difference between the two, one's gel based, one's water based. So if you not water based, Color Mill is for chocolates, gels are for royal icing and other things, and buttercream I think is the in between. You can use it for both. But she has piping bags. She also has like sprinkles and things like that. Cello bags. I love shops like Baking Me Crazy because I can get all my necessities in one place without having to pay a ton of different shipping charges. So if I need cello bags, I'll always add that to cart just because I'll probably run out and need them anyways. But I can get like the colors I'm running out for Americolor while also getting some sprinkles for my holiday DIY kits.
And I think word on the street, she's back for the vending blending. But code favorite twins, favorite twin, singular, is 10% off. I've also heard that Heather also works. Just
It
kidding.
does not. Type that in and watch you not get 10% off.
Neither
Type
does
in Corey, you
Corey.
might get 50% off. I don't know.
Cookie Design Lab, I mentioned before, they're the sponsor of the STL Me About It segment. Graciously, thank you for doing that. And their code is twins to save 15% off. Royal Batch is also code twins to save 10% on her meringue powder that Corey really, 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 really likes. A lot of people who tried it said, wow, there is no big bubble issue and the icing bleed is kept to a minimum. Now, Corey's tweaked her how she uses meringue powder, and you posted that in the baking group.
I did. I posted that in the baking group. If you watched my 25-day challenge, people were wondering what kind of icing do you use? It's royal icing, but if you want the exact recipe, I posted it in the baking group.
I like that. Thank you. Daisy Makes is a cake pop maker. She is pretty fascinating. Her use of like 3D printing technology to ease the use of creating kind of a difficult product, cake pops,
Yeah.
should be studied. But she is a sponsor as well. So if you are interested in cake pops, Corey swears this is a gateway drug to be able to get better at cake pops.
Yeah, I want to say if you wanted to go to Cake Pop Con, registration opened yesterday for 2026.
Very nice. Now, speaking of con, I see a lot of these products are offering these conventions, which I love. I am all about that. Now, EddieCon, I was told to read this to you. We're still in early bird registration, so you can still save money. That will end, and I think it ends in this month. Let me just see. So, just reading on the website, you go to primera.com/EddieCon dash early, and you can find that those discounted rates. Okay, that ends. Oh, I'm so sorry. EddieCon discount ends tomorrow.
Yeah.
Early
Yeah.
registration. The regular rate will go up by $100 after September 10th. So you get 2 full days of classes, and they're looking at the classes to be kind of petite on the 30 to 40 people side based off of their ticketing. So you guys can check that out. Very cool. Eddie is a very cool product. Corey likes it. Have you sold any Eddie prints lately?
I have one coming up next week, friend, next week.
I love it. And last but not least, not a sponsor, but definitely an affiliate, Bosch Nutrimil. You can use code Sugar Cookies at checkout. You save $20.
$20, $20. Do you have a Twinterest for us?
A Twinterest, yeah. You know what's crazy? Do you know what pink tax is?
Not a clue.
Really?
Pink tax?
Yeah, yeah. It's a
Mm.
product that's sold to both men and women, but when sold to women, it's priced higher. So, like various things, but specifically, pink tax is very high on razors. Now, I've shaving my legs all the time, but like men are shaving their beard. So, the technology in a man's razor is super high
Yeah.
because they need to get these close shaves. They want to shave this. They whatever men's hairs do on their face. I'm sure I could attest with my
I think
staff.
it grows any which way.
And then you got to have a really close shave and you don't want it to break out. So a man's shaver actually has these really sharp blades. But here's one thing. You know, like when men shave above their upper lip, just like us women that we won't admit to, the top of a man's razor has a second precision blade. It's on the flip side.
Yes. Yeah.
But when you go and get your Venus by Gillette, it's tons of more expensive, but you only get three cheapy blades and it's surrounded by like some weird soap that makes it feel weird to shave, right? Okay. So someone on Reddit was like, end the pink tax, buy men's razors. It's super cheap to buy the replacement. So I bought the Henry brand you could get at
Yeah.
Walmart. And then you could buy like tons of these replacements because men go through shavers so quickly. In the shower the other day, I also got this really slick soap. I was like, oh, this is great. It's like something you got at Walmart or whatever. It made that I dropped that man's razor and I caught it with my forearm. Okay, you know, like when you cut yourself with a razor and you're always like, that's stinging. And I don't know where I cut myself, but it will reveal itself and it'll never, it was so bad. It's all over my wrist. I went from here to here, this wound. So much that I went to Walmart, or I went to the McDonald's drive-through, and the checkout lady's like, "I gotta know what happened to your wrist." And I said, I caught a man's razor. That was my twin twist. However, will I still be using the men's razor? Yes. And if you're hearing this for the first time, this isn't about the gaping gash on my wrist. This is about the strategy of buying a man's razor and the replacement razors, the reusable razor. It's so
Yeah.
much cheaper than a woman's
I
razor.
don't think I've ever bought a woman's razor. I only buy men's razors.
Well, you avoid. No wonder I didn't know what the pink tax was. Never paid it a day or not.
My legs are as smooth can be.
What's your twin twist?
My twin interest is if anyone knows Michael's craft stores used to have a connection and a brand partnership with the places like Sweet Sugar Belle, the Sweet Tooth Fairy. But when Michael's opened, I think it's Celebrate Me or Celebrate It, that's their own brand. They
Oh,
said, get the other stuff out of here. We're only selling our stuff now. So someone on TikTok said, all that stuff, all the surplus, all the cookie cutters, the sprinkles went to a place called Ollie's. I had never been to an Ollie's before, but
let
I
me tell
found
you.
an Ollie's about an hour away, and it's where I go get my haircut. So I said, I'm going to go to whatever this Ollie's is. I'm going to be honest. It was the TJ Maxx of a Walmart.
Really?
It was every name brand thing you could want in a weird warehousey type of store.
Was it welcoming or did it feel sad?
Not welcoming at all. It was overly packed, but it had
Oh,
everything you possibly want. So they had cat toys there, cat toys, cat treats for a discounted price. They had cat shampoo for a discounted price, but they also had area rugs for a discounted price. But it was everything that was name brand, just a lot cheaper. And then
huh.
over the speakerphones, it said, "Good stuff, cheap," which is exactly what it was. They had cookbooks there, but I did find the Sweet Tooth Fairy and Sweet Sugar Belle cutters there. So there's this cutter set. I think it's got like 74 cutters in it. It was the standard flipping shapes for Sweet Sugar Belle. It's been around for I want to say a decade. But when you used to buy it from places like Michael's or online, it was like between 40 and $50.
Wow.
At Ollie's yesterday,
Okay.
it was
Bracing, bracing.
$2.99.
There's 75 cutters? That's
It was
insanity.
insane. So me and Heather, every time we go to a class, I tend to try to give a cutter away. And I usually buy them from like a year before. So if Michael's Christmas goes on clearance, I'll buy them there and then hold on to them for a year and then give them away that next class the next year. They had these snowflakes. You got two snowflakes for $1. So they're 50 cents each, full size snowflake cutters. So I got them for our Christmas class and then that one that we'll teach for the
Oh,
in-home.
very nice. Yeah, it's just a little people asking, like, what do you guys give away in your gift bags? As cheap as possible to keep your margins.
Yeah.
But I'll say every time somebody comes in, they're like, oh, we get a cutter today because they want to go home and try out this
Yeah.
stuff.
They had sprinkles, like a big old bottle like this big
Okay.
for $1. $1.
What was the expiration date on them
I
sprinkles?
didn't see, and you're right, the expiration date would have been good to see, but and
Or
here's
is
the
it
thing
just
with
one
Ollie's like
time?
TJ Maxx, you can't go in there wanting something. It's
I
if
know.
they have it, they have it. If they don't, they don't.
It's got a 1-2. You
They had
can't
a
go in
bunch
the
of
box with an agenda.
yeah, they had a bunch of Halloween blow up decor though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, there's like 10 Ollies in Virginia when I Googled it.
Yeah. I think there's one in Manassas too, which is closer.
Yeah, it
They
did.
had car stuff, like if you wanted car cleaning products.
Speaking my language.
I thought
I'm
that
assuming that
cleaning
this
products for
car.
your house was cheap. Snacks.
Like, I'm sorry, Windex was there?
Yes. Yeah.
Maybe you and I will have to go.
It was just, and they had like a ton of like canned fruit, but like the name
I'm
brand
sorry,
canned
what you
fruit.
said fruit?
Canned fruit.
Oh, canned fruit. They said hand fruit. And I was like, I thought they all go in your hand, but I'm
You put
about
it
to.
in your hand, you eat it. Hand fruit. Nothing was like that could expire. So there wasn't any bread or thing like that. No fresh
Oh,
fruit, no
okay.
meats. But it was snacks were there. So it would be great if you like had a bunch of kids you needed to have snackies for.
Maybe I want to say myself. Was it crowded?
I think there was two of us inside the whole alley.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy.
Huh. Okay, guys, go out to your Ollies. Are you gonna post a video about it?
Yeah, I took a whole video so you could see what I found there that was baking related.
Oh, very good. Did you get cat treats?
I did not. But I was running out
I
of
have
time.
room. No wonder I
They
should.
had a cat scratcher thing, and I almost got that, but I was running out of time, so I said, "Let me just get these cutters and roll,
Your hair
girl,
does look
roll."
nice.
Thanks.
Okay, how do you think the podcast went from the Zoom thing? But we'll
I
see it when I
think
post
it
it.
went great.
If there's tapping, we're going to exile Corey
No, I
from the
didn't tap
podcast.
it. For some odd reason, when it's sitting at the table in your office, this little metal thing
I know.
actually is the thing that taps, but it's lower on here, so it did not tap.
Very nice. Okay, we'll see how this goes. Next week, we'll be back to a regular filming area where Corey will be tapping.
Good.
So if you want to hear that tap dance, see us next week.
But if this works,
Then I would
you
love
can.
to create a forum where we could have bakers just be interviewed and we can talk shop. And I think that you guys really like having guest speakers. And I don't want you to have to fly all the time to go be interviewed. But I think we have actually one local baker that runs a supply shop and she has asked to be on it. So we'll do one more in-person one, I hope.
Well, we'll see. She's very busy, so it might be a Zoomy one.
Yeah, I'll ask her about it. So, anyways, that is it. Thank you for coming to the Baking It Down podcast remote edition. Bye.
Mm.
Okay.